Law number 17, the law of humanity. Employer brand is the most human feeling part of any brand. Honestly, out of all the laws, this one might be the most controversial. Sure, when I say employer branding is the only kind of marketing that still thinks in terms of quality over quantity, the marketers get all feisty. And when I say that employer brand comes from all parts of the company, people try to turn into a conversation about, well, where should the employer brand live? And for what it's worth, I'm sick of that question. It's like a dog chasing its own tail. Who cares what the answer is if the organization doesn't understand the value of employer branding and wants to get behind its success? Stepping off my soapbox. But when, as I did this week at RecFest, and if you feel like you missed out, you should go, I say that employer brand is the human face of a company's brand, I expect employer branders to jump out of their seats and shout, a la Braveheart, yes, we are playing a vital role in how the entire business is perceived by presenting and communicating the reasons people love to work there. A strong employer brand is the yin to consumer branding's product focus, yang, and together we build the company. And shouting would ensue, and we all charge down the hill to meet the enemy. Instead, what I get are blank stares. Not even nods or expressions of agreement, but more like I'm reciting arcane facts from Wikipedia that have no frame of reference. Did you know that there's a road that is both in Canada and the United States? It's called the Canusa Road. But I digress. So let's close the gap, because when an employer brander is having a rough day, when they feel like their work amounts to polishing the insides of the plumbing for all the value they're delivering, they need to remember that they are doing something amazing that impacts the entire company. If you look at how most companies think about branding, it starts with the product brand. What is the product? What is its unique value proposition? What are the features and how do they solve a customer's problem? If you're selling software as a service, no one talks about who coded it or tested it. At best, you'll learn a little bit about the founder, who had perhaps a problem and built the tool to scratch their own itch. But there's nothing about the person who decided the next feature set or who builds the marketing. For consumers, the product is a black box. It might as well have sprung fully formed from Zeus's head. When you're buying a product, the company wants you to buy it based on the value of the product, because they can establish and prove that value, and you'll keep buying it. This is 100% of the branding when a company is small, because the company only has one product. The product brand is the company brand. But as the company grows, someone will be put in charge of the corporate brand. It might just be a function of showing how one company can have a shared perspective that connects multiple products serving multiple audiences. Think of how the iPhone and the MacBook all have different audiences and taglines, but in the end, they all feel like they share Apple's idea of how technology should look and feel. That role might be expanded to include investor relations, when the investors aren't just 2 or 3 venture capital firms, but really you're talking to dozens of companies or even an entire investor market when you go public. The investor brand is the story the company tells about its long-term future. It illustrates how their specific take on the market and the market trends will leave that company in the driver's seat at some point in the future, so start buying equity and stock now. And while CFOs will certainly say that not all investors are created equal, there is, some cash that comes along with Andreessen Horowitz or Berkshire Hathaway's investing rather than Mark's big house of funding. But in the end, the story they tell is the same. We are going to get much bigger, so join now. Note that the investor brand doesn't say much or anything about who works there and why. There's an assumption that everyone who joined is aligned to that vision of a bigger company and a great payday around the corner, but that kind of motivation is thin, especially when you're employee number 1276. There's a bit of a gap here. People. And that's where employer brand comes in. It isn't the sales pitch we make about why someone should join us. It's the expression of humanity to the market. How much, how little, what the people who work there care about, and how much they're cared for and cared about. Because as much as the consumer branding talks about the product, who made the product? Who thought it up? Who tested it? You can't tell me that a product that was built by a collection of faceless salary collectors is going to be the same as one built by the team at Nike. Future product ideas and executions don't come from God's fax machine. They come from the people who work there. Which means your sense of a company's future isn't just based on a semi-famous CEO on the cover of a magazine, but on the hundreds and thousands of people who push the idea further, who got feedback and identified the insights and made the products real. And when leadership tenure keeps getting shorter, currently the CMO tenure is like 18 months, why should an investor believe in leadership if they won't even be around to see their dreams made real? Employer branding is the voice of people. the expression of the real, the path forward, and the differentiation from other firms. And that is where you and I live.